when somebody has probably the best bow hunting area for roedeer in Denmark asks you to come and shoot a roe or fawn, you accept. And you also pay very much attention that you do not shoot a buck that has shed its antlers, because he's a buck hunter and he likes the bucks. Stay tuned. Bow hunting is difficult, no question about that. But bow hunting in the winter, I think, is especially difficult. Why? Because you have a lot less cover. You have fewer leaves on the trees to hide behind, and you have less birds making noises that will cover your noise. Another challenge is the length of the days. I know they start later so you can sleep in, but they're also very short. So usually, if you want to increase your chances of seeing something, you have to sit there all day long. I've been sitting in my tree stand a few hours when I see 3 deer crossing the field. The first one in front is completely covered by branches and I have no shot. And she will almost certainly walk right into my wind in a few minutes. So I'm hoping that the second deer will come into bow range before the first one catches my scent and blows the entire group out of there. And that's exactly what happens. I hate being right. But then again, you cannot blame them, because I really was going to shoot one of them. For my evening hunt, I decide to explore new grounds and I find a spot where I can hunt from the ground. But again, cover is an issue. And even though the wind is right, the only deer that comes out is a young buck. And he takes a few looks at me and decides, it's probably a lot safer where he came from, and he runs back. And I wasn't even going to shoot him. The next morning, in the cover of darkness, I sneak into my new spot. It's a fantastic spot. It's open, but it's still in the trees. I have to break off a few branches in order to get a clear shot, and as I do that, I scare away a roedeer. Well, I can hear it, but I cannot see it. So now, I have to be quiet and wait for it to come back. After a few cold and lonely hours in the tree stand, I finally spot some movement a couple of 100 meters away in the brush. It's a lonely roedeer and it's coming closer. This roedeer has a strong desire to come right underneath my tree stand. But as it does approach, I can see very clearly it's not a roe, it's a buck that has shed the antlers. So I've been sitting here for about, a little more than 3 hours, and it's not that cold actually. I'm pretty warm. When I got here, I pushed a roedeer somewhere, and probably it's the buck that came back. I had a roedeer coming in, and it was so exciting. He came in at maybe 10 meters at the shortest, and then stopped at 20. And he was looking very buff and masculine, but I couldn't tell if it was a buck or not. And then I could see the small tips where the antlers had been, and when he turned around, I could see he didn't have a skirt. He didn't have the skirt that the roes have. And I'm not gonna shoot a buck without any antlers. I'm gonna wait till next year. So it's coffee time. I'm gonna walk back to my car. Come back this afternoon, I guess. Well, it's true what they say, you shoot nothing from the couch. I just came back to the tree stand where I sat this morning, and just beneath there was a deer, and I wasn't sure. I could have shot it from here actually, but I couldn't see if it was a buck or not. So I had to get closer, and I peeked through the rocks and I could see the skirt, so it's a doe. And then she sensed something was wrong, And she moved further and further away, and finally she took off. She's not that spooked, so I'm just gonna shut up, climb in my tree stand, and cross my fingers she's coming back tonight. But the roe never returns. I do get a visit from my old friend the buck. He's just sort of saying hello. And eventually the sun goes down, and I decide to call it a night and climb back in the same tree stand the following morning. The following day begins very much in the same way that the evening before had ended, by a visit from my old friend the buck. Again he decides to come right underneath my tree stand. After hanging out for about 10 minutes, the buck finally decides that it's time to go home, and he wanders off. Me, I decide it's time for lunch, and I head for the car. I'm going in the opposite direction that the buck did, and suddenly something happens. I just spotted a roe just 50 meters away, sleeping. I don't know if I can get close to her. We'll see. The ground is wet, and that covers most of my noise, but I cannot believe that this deer doesn't hear me. I have to move through brush and break branches in order to get to it. I try to keep a tree between its head and mine, so it may sense something is going on, but it cannot see me. Finally, I can see that this animal is uneasy. It's moving its legs and is about to get up. It hasn't seen me, but it knows something is wrong. I know it's now or never. I have to take one more step, and then I can draw back the bow. Wow, how exciting was that? I was climbing down the tree stand up here, walked along this road, going to my car, and then all of a sudden I see a roe lying over there. 60-80 meters. I managed to sneak as close as I could. I put up the camera. I got even further. I got to about 23 meters. Finally she stood up, sensed something was wrong. I had a perfect shot. I took the 20-meter pin, I aimed a little bit high, and she just took it in the lung and ran uphill, and she's right up there. I can see her from here. I was going back to my car because I was getting cold. The sun has been up for forever, and I just spotted this deer just lying over there. And I saw this big roe the other day. And she just escaped me, so hopefully that's her. No fawns with her. Certainly hope it's not the buck. I just saw the buck coming to the tree stand, but he went the other way, so I'm very certain that's not him. Let's go have a look. Excellent. Pink blood, full penetration, and this thing I could see this miles away. Well, not miles away, but 50 meters away. Let's go and see what we have. It is a young buck, actually. Very white. Sorry, buck. Excellent shot. This was the exit side. I shot on the right side. Good blood here. Sorry, Buggy. Sorry. That's the entry side. I prefer to shoot these when they have antlers because it looks better on the wall, but the eating is equally good. What a stalk. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to click subscribe and follow me for more interesting hunting in time to come. Now I have to work. The more I look at this buck, and the more I look at the footage of the buck from underneath the tree stand, I become more and more convinced that they are the same. How he came that far in so short a time, I have no idea. My host forgave me and acknowledged at least I had tried to shoot the right animal.